I watched it. I saw it. I still don't believe it. I had to remove my jaw from the floor watching it. The Boston Celtics become the first team in NBA Finals history to win by double digits after trailing by double digits entering the fourth quarter. Wow, this was wild. Down 12, on the road, against the legendary Steph Curry. Odds were against him. Thus, this was next level special. A terrific all-time comeback. And frankly, I thought Boston was dead after the third. Heck, with 2:10 left in the third quarter, it was 87-72 Golden State. Boston outscored the Warriors 40-16 in the final 14 minutes. Celtics outscored the Warriors 40-16 in the fourth quarter. The Celtics made 15 shots in the fourth quarter and 9 threes. Shame on me. Shame, shame, shame. I thought the Warriors would win it when Steph hit a three to make it 103-100 with about 6 minutes to go. And it's funny saying that out loud. I'm always honest with the audience because, you know, after that three, the Celtics went on a 17-0 run. You had White draining a tough three. Al Horford hit back-to-back threes. Horford hit a J. Marcus Smart made a couple of threes. And that's the anatomy of a comeback with Jason Tatum scoring 0 fourth quarter points. Their best player scored 0 in crunch time, and it didn't matter. Color me stunned. Jaylen Brown was absolutely terrific, and he was steady. He deserves so much credit for last night. Robert Williams made a huge difference in every single phase in the fourth quarter. Derek White was simply fantastic. Smart was great. Pritchard picked it up, and how about Al Horford? Are you kidding me? First NBA Finals game of his long NBA career, 9-12 from the field, a staggering 6 threes. 26 points for Al Horford, who at last check was 98 years old. Credit Ime Udoka. I mean, the Celtics have had that calm dealing with adversity all year, from the slow start to being the best team in the NBA this calendar year, to sweeping the Nets, to beating the champs down 3-2 heading into Milwaukee, to surviving the Heat. Short turnaround for these NBA Finals, no problem. And all that in terms of the experience from 2022 matters. That chemistry and trust matters. That was one for the ages. Up double digits in your building, game one against a great Celtics team where Jason Tatum made 3 shots all game. Yikes. That was a hot mess for Steph Curry and Golden State. Steph Curry's first quarter was legendary. 21 points. NBA Jam on fire. But in a series where there's a legacy at stake, Steph Curry made only 2 fourth quarter shots and went 2 of 6 from the field in the fourth quarter. It simply cannot happen. The fact that Steph's legendary first quarter will only go down as a random footnote is wild. 21 points in the first, 0 points in the second quarter, 4 points in the fourth quarter. The first quarter was fun, but the game, let's be honest here, you know I love Steph Curry, was unacceptable for Steph if you want to win another championship and get that elusive first finals MVP. The Warriors' defense has been phenomenal all year, but just deplorable in crunch time last night. The Celtics are clearly the best team the Warriors have faced this postseason. Jokic and a bunch of no-names, the Grizz, San Ja, Luka, and 4 other cats aren't walking through that door. The focus needs to be so much better. Draymond Green was dreadful last night, 2 of 12 from the field. Clay was Wiggins was good. The pool was cold. The series is obviously far from over, but that quickly morphed from easy street to heartbreak in a flash. When you're playing a great, deep, well-coached team, you can't lose up 12 in the fourth. You can't lose the Steph Curry 21-point first quarter game. Suddenly, Sunday night is rather huge. That Philadelphia Phillies president Dave Dombrowski and interim manager Rob Thompson talking to the press today after the Phillies' bombshell firing of Joe Girardi. And I love Joe Girardi. It is not close to being his fault. I want it on record. I totally disagree with this firing, but I acknowledge something had to change. We stressed earlier this week that the Philadelphia Phillies were the most disappointing team in baseball so far. Heck, Girardi told our friend Jim Duquette this morning, after he got fired on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, that he understood because the results are the results. And look, the Phillies hired Joe Girardi to end the drought of not making the playoffs, and it hasn't worked. Phillies 7 games under 500, and they just continuously lose in gut-wrenching fashion. They brilliantly in the offseason, to Dave Dombrowski's point, spent a ton of money on Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. I picked them to make the playoffs. That was an easy pick. There's no excuse. You know, it's easier to fire the manager than, I don't know, find 3 new starters and get a totally new bullpen. But Girardi's personality makes him, and I acknowledge this, a front-runner kind of manager. It works when things are going well. It's a grind when it's not. We talked on Tuesday about Bryce Harper's commentary following the brutal loss Sunday night to the Mets, because when Harper speaks and talks about a culture of losing, that's really all you need to know. Harper, the MVP, the best player on the team, the pulse of the clubhouse, leader in the community. When he talks about that publicly, look, it's only a matter of time before you make that managerial change. Now, the struggling Angels come to Philly tonight, so perhaps it's a perfectly timed, great time to shake it up and make the managerial switch. But the players, especially the pitchers, need to back up the decision, because the only acceptable outcome for the Philadelphia Phillies this season is to make the playoffs. A lot to get off my chest on a Friday after Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and let's make sure we give some love to Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens' genius, his fingerprints all over game number 1 for the Boston Celtics. And look, there were some people who wondered aloud about the former head coach getting kicked upstairs and becoming the team's general manager. And you know, I think Brad Stevens was excellent, but the team couldn't get to the NBA Finals, so he goes upstairs, and look at these moves. The Kemba Walker for Al Horford move, phenomenal. And Horford has obviously had a terrific postseason and was majestic last night. It was Brad Stevens who hired his replacement. And Ime Udoka is just incredible. The Derek White deal was so significant. And there were haters, critics, members of the media who didn't like the fact that Stevens included a first-round pick in that deal. But Derek White, terrific ball player, a role player, learned in San Antonio from Pop. Udoka, very familiar with him from San Antonio. Classic Spurs ball player. And Derek White hit all those shots last night. He's been such a good role player throughout this postseason. Horford, I mean, they wouldn't be in this position without him. Obviously hitting all those threes. It's important to give Brad Stevens a ton of credit for everything, but specifically those moves and the impact on the huge win last night. Now, as impressive as the Celtics were, Jason Tatum needs to play better if Boston's going to win this series. And understand, I was dead wrong in my analysis of, you know, I could give you all the role players we want who could step up, but they need Tatum to dominate in order to win. It was the exact antithesis in stunning fashion last night for the Boston Celtics. I don't think that's a recipe for success moving forward. Jason Tatum was 3 of 17. Jason Tatum was 3 of 17. Now, I'm going to give him a ton of credit for what's in red. The 13 assists, that's a big deal. I thought his defense was tremendous. His effort was great. He didn't get inside his own head when he was struggling mightily from the field, but you just saw the numbers on your screen, what he's done in the postseason, what he's capable of. He should be, every single night, a superstar, an offensive juggernaut. He was not. If, in fact, he struggles again from the field and only hits 3 shots, the Boston Celtics, I'll say it again, I was wrong last night, en route for 3 quarters, as Draymond Green said earlier in the show, en route to being right. What happened in the 4th quarter was amazing. Big picture for Boston, it's flukish. I don't think they can do that again with that kind of formula. Jason Tatum, effort was great, needs to be dominant. I'm talking about 25, 30 points for the Celtics to win game 2 and to win this series. I got to get this off my chest. The Celtics do not go on a 17-0 run if Kevin Durant is still a Warrior. And last night was a great night for Kevin Durant. Do you realize the Golden State Warriors are 1-8 in their last 9 NBA Finals games where Kevin Durant hasn't played? Think about that for a second. Because, we had Charles Barkley on the show, on our SiriusXM radio show, and I know he likes to talk at length about, Durant's not being the alpha dog and the bus driver when he was in Golden State. I vehemently disagree with the Chuckster. I mean, he was not a hood ornament. And Kevin Durant was a 2-time Finals MVP. So last night was a great night for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant would have hit a bucket or two. Kevin Durant would have been that alpha dog. That's a bad job by Steph Curry. That's a negative last night for Steph. Great night for KD. Puts a ton of pressure on the Warriors for Sunday night. I think they're going to win on Sunday night. They better, because at every single loss, at every single turn, these NBA Finals, Kevin Durant looks better.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.